Hello you guys, Dead Spikes here. Today I'm going to be making a video talking about why the yellow cake is so strong. Obviously this is the strongest weapon in the game currently. I mean, just check this thing out. It just absolutely shreds Tronton every other boss in the game with ease. So I will be making a video talking about why it is so strong and explaining it to you guys. Please make sure, if you are not yet, to subscribe to the channel. Are you sick of seeing trash loot on the ground, boss after boss after boss kill? Do you want your mailbox to look like this? Just god roll after god roll? All you have to do is stop at the Dead Spike stream, earn some free points by watching the stream, and then you can buy a nice fat god roll with this function right here. See you in the chat, boys. To start this out, let's look at what the yellow cake actually does. What does this yellow cake do? You shoot it, it splits. It looks like it splits 2 times. Splits once there, splits second time there. Possibly 3. 1, 2, 3. Or is that the hitting explosion? 1, 2. Okay, yeah, it only splits twice, so it goes from either a ×1 to a ×2 to a ×4, or a ×2 to a ×4 to a ×8. At that very end there, you can see that 8 projectiles come out of that. And that's when you get max damage, is if all 8 of those projectiles hit your target. That's why larger targets tend to take a lot more damage from this. And it works like a cutsman as well, where the projectiles do not stop when they hit something. So it also has that little perk of the cutsman added to it, which is pretty strong. But what I really think makes it strong is it has the same kind of thing happening that the recursion has happening. I like to call it a glitch. I don't know what you actually want to call it. Just bad mechanics, I guess. Bad coding setup for how projectiles work, or unintentional. I think it was unintentional on how strong this gets, and here I'll show you why. Let's go grab some ammo quick so we can keep firing this baby off. So I did make a video talking about why the recursion was so strong and the Queen's Call and stuff. They're weapons that make more projectiles, and those weapons seem to do way increased damage when adding extra elements to them, like this. Gain bonus incendiary damage when your action skill end. I'll show you. I stripped my whole build off. I took everything off for this just to showcase some pretty good numbers that are very consistent across the board. We do have synchronicity in Donnybrook, but those will not come into play because we're just casting our action skill and breaking it. I really had to make sure I didn't have Seeing Red. I also needed to take off my class mod because Seeing Dead will proc my kill skills as well. The only thing I'm running right now is this transformer to give it fire. Let's see what this thing actually does. So it does about 1,000,000 consistently. If I kept shooting it, I just keep doing 1,000,000 and 1,000,000 from this distance. Well, when I add my digiclone to it and I action skill end it with that transformer on, it starts dealing massive amount of damage. I can't even keep up with that. I can't even see how much that really is. It stopped. Let's try it again. I'll try to photo shoot it. Like, that is a lot. Let's see if we can turn damage numbers on here. There it is. Looks like we got a 970k there, or yeah, I think that's 970k, a 1 mil, 1 mil. Okay, so it looks like we're hitting for probably around 3.5 mil. So we went from 1.1 mil to 3.5 mil roughly with this. It looks like. So that's pretty good there. Now that's just adding 1 action skill end. So let's add a 2nd action skill end. Let's add corrosive to it, huh? Drop our clone. Now we added fire and corrosive to this. Just look at that. There's so many numbers that you can't even see what's happening, because the actual projectile is splitting into so many different projectiles That's the glitch I'm talking about. That's what makes the recursion so strong. And weapons that create extra projectiles is when you add elements to them, each projectile makes an extra projectile for the element that's added to it. So technically speaking, we have 3 times projectiles. We shoot 6, it splits to 12, and then splits to 24 projectiles with 3 elements. And as Zane, and you add that cryo, you can have up to 4 elements, and it just gets absolutely ridiculously insane. So actually the yellow cake itself is not that crazy. It's a really strong rocket, don't get me wrong, but the projectile glitch is what's making it crazy. I can't actually see these numbers. I wish I could, but there's too many numbers. If I were to estimate, I'm gonna guess there's like close to 15 mil here, maybe 12 mil, 15 mil, something around there is what I would have to guess. There's mils hidden in here that we can't see. There's so many K's and everything, all those extra damage numbers. Now you can go even more across the board and you add a one-shotter. Please remember, while I'm making this real quick, there's no build here. There is no damage adding to here, nothing at all. This is strictly just using my digiclone and breaking it. There's no action skills being used, no kill skills, no class mod, not even an artifact. There's nothing being added here except for these shield and grenade anointments and the yellow cake itself. And it's not even a yellow cake that the anointment's working. I'm not using Sentinel. So it's just a basic ×2 yellow cake. So you can complement it even more by throwing a one-shotter on. The one-shotter is different than most amp shields because it amps every single projectile rather than just the initial. The normal amp shields, I haven't exactly tested this myself, but from what I understand is normal amp shields like the rerouter only buff the initial projectile, where the one-shotter will actually buff all of the other projectiles. I'm not 100% sure. I do need to test that at some point, but that's what I was told. And that just makes it do a massive, stupid amount of damage when it hits that target right there. We can see a 2 mil right off the bat right there. Can't even see, yeah, we can't even see how much that is, but that's the first 2 mil we've even seen, and that was from that one-shotter boost right there. 744 Ks just locked up right there. Oh my gosh, that's just crazy. And he's a flesh type enemy, so they're getting reduced a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of what's happening there, is you need to learn how to use the action skill ends. So maybe if you're having a problem with dealing damage with this yellow cake, you're not being able to do what YouTubers do and streamers do, maybe even your friends. If you're not really understanding why you can't deal the amount of damage with the yellow cake that other people are, there's 2 things you need to learn how to do. The first thing was what I was talking about, is you need a shield and grenade combination that have different elements on action skill end. So I added shock and corrosive to this, plus the radiation of the yellow cake. They need to be different elements to complement. You can use radiation here. The only thing different, or the only thing you have to do, is make sure these 2 right here are different elements. The things actually on the yellow cake don't need to be different elements. Even the anointment, I believe, does stack. It's only the shield and grenade that does not stack. Make sure those are different elements. So I'm using shock and corrosive. Don't do shock, shock. Don't do corrosive, corrosive. Fire, fire. You'll only get one of the actual buffs, not both. So you do need to use separate to make it work better than just try to base it around the target that you're trying to farm. Like if I was farming Trant, we know that he is cryo and fire resistant, so I wouldn't want to use cryo or fire as one of these, and I'm not. So that's kind of what you want to base yourself off of with shield and grenade. It doesn't matter even if they're legendary. Try to get a blue or a purple that gives these action skill ends. Shouldn't be too hard if you can farm Mayhem 10. If you can get an extra one on your yellow cake too, that's actually really good. It's almost better than Sentinel Cryo, ASA 300%. It's up there with them if you find a ×2 yellow cake with these stats that has on action skill and blah 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 element on the next 2 mags. That's pretty good for the yellow cake as well. Now the second thing you need to learn how to do is distance it. Like we talked about, is this yellow cake is splitting, right? Split, split. It splits twice. So you're going to try to line it up so right when the second split hits, it hits your target. That's when you do max damage, because the projectiles will be as close as possible together. So right when that second split hits is about the distance you want on your target. And if you can master that, you'll probably insta-kill any target you're trying to get. This is more geared towards bosses, mind you, not geared toward normal ads. Normal ads, you can kind of just free fire and kill them pretty easily. But towards bosses, sure, you're gonna want exactly where that double hits, right at that point right there. Especially if they're a larger target like Tyrene or Graveord, right when that second split happens. As Flak and Amara, it is really easy to do this yellowcake trick because you can use your action skill ends very fast. Zane actually has the hardest job trying to doppelbang. It is hardest to use the yellowcake on Zane, but it's definitely not impossible, and it's quite viable. If you ever watch my stream or any of my videos where I use it, I doppelbang my clone to add those action skill ends to my equipment. As well as it's pretty easy too, plus you get that little infinite ammo, which is great. That'll do it for this video. I hope it helped you guys understand why this yellowcake is dealing so much damage. If it did help you out, please make sure to leave that thumbs up button. It does help me out a lot. Also, please make sure to subscribe to the channel for some more helpful content like this. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope to catch you in the stream. Goodbye. This is Bikes out.